Sinners came through on Vertigo and styled it out from start to finish. ONYX wouldn't get the chance getting this 2-0 underway, and next coming up is going to be Nuke. The decider between these two teams. One team will make it to the main event and one team will be going on the bus. And that's the bus that Kassad has already prepared for ONYX, clearly, even if we don't know the result already.
Yeah, the bus is always there. Ready who's
On
going to be
standby.
on. Just ready who's going to be on it. That's the question, right?
And what's the destination?
Yeah, I mean, it's right there.
Belgrade or Prague
Or, yeah, I don't know any other cities.
That's as far as we could get with it all. But now this Vertigo, right, was much more of what you guys were saying. Yeah, it was really no chance in terms of what ONYX could offer. A few good rounds in there, you know, a bit of chance to show they had some ability to play on it, but Sinners pretty much outclassed them.
Yeah, I mean, it was Sinners like all along, right? From the start, ONYX had absolutely no chance. All the T-side ramp A battles just went in favor of Sinners, and then T10-5 half, you lose a pistol, you pretty much have no chance after that. But the thing is, like, it's not like ONYX played scared or anything. They went for the fight, right? They were fighting ramp, but they would just keep losing it because they don't have a proper fight to take the two.
Yeah, I don't think they were kind of lacking like the mid-round protocols of like finding that right timing or gap to take the right ball flash and then go for the fight, create yourself a mad advantage, you know, give that eviction notice to the T side so they need to kind of fall back a little bit more, make things more awkward. They've already expended a lot of utility, making that actual execute to the bomb side that much harder. It just time and time again felt like Sinners were just a step ahead.
You can see like how Sinners, like, they feel more comfortable like taking battles rather than on Inferno, right?
Yeah.
It's like easy walking up the ramp and Zetko or Shock, whoever it is, like flanking, and like it was like more fluent on this map rather than on Inferno, but it was like chaos all over. So pretty convincing win, to be honest.
Yeah, the only blunder was in the early rounds, really. I think it was the second round where Sinners went for a B execute and force buy from ONYX, and they stacked the bomb side and they grabbed that one. But ever since that happened, it didn't seem really bother Sinners whatsoever.
Yeah, even if they were like 1-3, they just kept rolling on their game plan, on defaults, and keep winning that A ramp fights. It was just a pretty convincing win.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing much you can say about it.
Was it at least the kind of Vertigo you like to see, Natu?
I mean, I'm just generally not a fan of the map.
Okay.
What can I say?
Say one nice thing, like, yeah, the smokes were nice, or something. The colors are nice.
Hey, you can do some pretty cool smokes there. You know, you can throw stuff from the T spawn. You know, break some windows, jumping stuff.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Something positive, right?
Creative stuff.
The colors.
I
are
just
nice.
don't like the verticality. I'm just like, it just reminds me of Rainbow Six.
So, what's the problem there?
Just not Counter-Strike, mate.
You're just one of those boring people that just play Mirage and face it punks, right?
No,
just goes for Mirage.
But that's my first ban. Mirage is my first ban.
Yeah,
every time.
Yeah, we believe you.
Yo, go check my face.
I will. Everybody go and check his stats.
Check my face stats. 100%.
Look up into Natu and see if he's playing Mirage or not. Tweet us and make sure we know, and then we'll bring it up on the next segment as well. Least favourite map then is Mirage?
Yeah.
Then Vertigo?
Yeah.
Okay. What's the favourite map?
Train.
Oh, it's gone. It's gone. You're not even in the map pool anymore.
I know.
Shows where Natu was last buffing to play here. This right. Train. Yeah, all those good memories.
No, Finnish maps were always Train and Nuke, man.
Well, we got Nuke coming up next, and at least in terms of this, are we expecting this one to be a bit closer? Is there a fight where ONYX will have a little bit of a better understanding, or are they just going to be wiped off the individual skill level that's going to be the disparity here?
Yeah, I mean, they managed to grab the win against Esuba yesterday, and when it was Esuba's pick as well. So I mean, that gives you.
That was scrappy.
Sure, but it gives you a glimmer of hope, right? I mean, of course, it's a map that does need a lot of protocol. It needs a lot of good coordination, both sides really. So I mean, you know, the rationale tells you that they should be Sinners just walking away with this one.
Yeah, I mean, looking at their maps previously, we used to play against Sinners a lot, right? And Nuke was one of their good maps, and I know Oscar is always having a good time on that map. So you know, that's all I'm gonna say. Now, just kidding. The thing is, they won Inferno. They lost the map they are probably thinking they're gonna lose anyway. So they're going into nuke thinking like, okay, you know, let's reset the nuke. We won it yesterday. We know what are we doing. We saw yesterday they had like different strats, right? They had different smokes, which were fine, right? So if you have something, then you can use something to actually have a chance to win that decider. You know, it's not like like Vertigo. You know, it's not like all the way decided. You know, in favor of Sinners. So even though they are the underdogs, they still have a chance, I guess.
They have a chance, Kassad guesses. So probably means they don't have a chance, and that must be ready and waiting for them. But I'm ready and waiting to hear from Dweg and Jay. So take it away for this final map between Sinners and looking at ONYX and what they can do.
I don't think they're going to do much, unfortunately, here. If you take a look at the stats of Nuke in the past 3 months, they've gotten 3 wins on them. I'm just actually going to list the stats very quickly. There was the win yesterday against Isuba. That was a 19-15 result. The win against FTW during Malta Vibes was a 16-12 result. And then a 16-14 above Nexus. Not great results, considering that they've also lost like 50 times in that particular period of time as well.
Again, though, you have to remember a lot of their competition's around that same sort of ballpark, right? So that it's not massively expected. I guess coming into Nuke, what we can know is that Sinners actually pick this map fairly regularly in best of threes if they don't get Vertigo out. So because of that, you now start looking at it and think to yourself, if Sinners really want to put on a good show, they're going to have to just play their own game. For ONYX, they got 10 rounds against the Super on that CT side, and it still went to OT.
Yeah, and that's the big thing, I think. Their T-halves are not great. Their CT sides need to be the main focal point. If they get anything less than like a 12-3, I feel like on their CT side...
not that far, not that far.
You don't think that far, really?
No, they need to probably press it for 8+, 9+ rounds. To say 12-3, oh, they need 12 rounds to win a game that needs 16. I mean, come on, that's way too far.
They are up against Sinners, though.
No, it doesn't matter. Even...
All right, then.
Yeah.
Okay, well...
They need a good performance on their City side. Not that far, though.
Well, the knife round of the side, if they're going to get that CT side to start things off, I think that might be very important towards them. Either way, regardless of how many rounds you get, how many you think is a necessary number, it's still going to be such a difficult affair for ONYX.
Yeah.
Sinners are in such a great position. They just blew them out of the water in that last map, and I feel like the Nuke could go down a similar sort of avenue. This is going to be so tough for ONYX.
Yeah, got to remember too that the new Premier season's only just started, and the last result we saw from that season was Sinners up against AGO. Sinners picked into Nuke, and they got 10 rounds, and AGO, well, bye-bye, they were eliminated.
Yeah, absolutely. So all signs point to Sinners. With the third map going their way. I'm still pointing to Sinners.
All sides picked that. I've just told them they've lost on Nuke in that proceeding.
Okay, fine.
All sides except one.
All sides except one point to Sinners, right? There you go. Pistol, USPs coming out for the CT forces of the Sinners side as they get that start on the defensive line. ONYX will need a hell of a task and a hell of a play to get this one started. Deagle in for Impulse as we get to our third and final map of the best of 3 series.
And this isn't something you see very often. Sometimes you might get the raid boss for the P250, but to actually have a Deagle in a pistol, I'm keen to see what Impulse can do with this. Slow walk outside. There was a chance. Doesn't quite connect.
And taps on. The teams will make their way outside, completely dry in terms of the utility phase. Of course, Zedko is forced away from position. Bondic, Glock set in as the T's start walking in. Impulse slowing things down here for ONYX.
Just explode into the lower bomb site, have that lurk of Bondic up on top side out from Squeaky to cut rotates. Something that he did as much as he could on the T side against Asuba.
Glock out, walking into lobby. Oscar 5-7. Watching out from vents. Dav with smoke at the ready will open up the door from his teammate and will smoke the cross, get the bomb plant effectively and efficiently as is possible for Sinners into the retake.
Now, this looks pretty promising for ONYX. 5-on-5 post plants, always nice on Nuke. They don't have any more util, but it's going to be that Deagle of Impulse I'm keeping an eye for, and even for Bondic could catch Oscar off.
Oh, gets the kill. There you go. 5-on-4 with Shock being on 16 points of health. This is all important now. The ONYX side have the advantage. Can they turn in a second frag? They've got B-Stick tagged up now. Dav's going to get credited with the kill. Zedka with a responsive, Impulse and Bondic with 2 more to return. And it's Shock on the 16 points of HP. The early tagged up player now left to clutch a 1 versus 4. This will at least be a pistol for the T side.
Yeah, that was pretty simple. Standard stuff coming through from ONYX. Dimkey has been seen by Shock. Can't really do much about it. See if he can find one more pick. Gonna go down. And it just comes into the lower take. First off, they don't even have to take jewels outside before getting into secret. They don't even need to take a jewel until that lower bomb site. They open up the single door. They get the smoke down. The bomb goes in with it of Arrow. And then Bondic, who's just lurking, is able to find a couple of kills.
Pistol gain start out, rifles in with the Galils, the AK, the MAC-10. Rebuy, Deagles in for Sinners.
So what do we say, Jay? Or what do we not say? This doesn't look winnable. We'd never say that when it's these second rounds. We're banned from saying that.
No, you've banned us from saying that. No one has banned us. You just said that out of nowhere. Set in with the pistols, of course. Still hand cannon, still potential in the round for Sinners. That is the grand point of this. They're playing slowly again. ONYX loving the slow passive T-sides here.
They definitely wouldn't buy if there wasn't potential, right? And this is why we've seen Sinners go in for the force buy, just how often these kind of buys do get the round 2 breaks. ONYX putting a fair few nades out to this closed vent position. Just could be the upper execution with the late lurk from Arrow outside.
Nades on the closed vent. B-Stick's head's been seen. Impulse can take it off his shoulders. Zedko can do the same thing as Dimkey. And spot a second player as well. Neofrag with his Deagle on the site is overwhelmed by Dab, but he gets one on the way out. 3-on-3. Oscar still waiting for a chance to strike out of vents.
Yeah, that timing could have been everything to get up, deny that bomb from going down. There is one player of Arrow who's waiting for the vent player to come up. Zedko in from heaven. They know that he's here.
MAC-10 watching Oscar. The Eagle set. Scout still trying to lean out of this heaven position, but he just doesn't see anything. Doesn't get a chance. It's waiting. Flash over. Dav. Doesn't even need to take contact. Arrow's going to go down next. Shot leads into a hut position. It's going to be 2 kills returned back for the T-side line. Oscar turns around to a 1 versus 1. Swaps out to another Galil, but no time left to go for this retake, so he's just got to save the weapon.
Yeah, Zedko got 2 really important kills up from heaven. Oscar even trying to see if he could find some further impact. Doesn't quite happen.
Jeez.
Dav, pretty good connection there.
Respectable.
Yeah.
Very respectable indeed.
That was a close round. There's a lot of damage being done. The problem was the kills just kind of came in too late. Yeah, they were starting to come in from that heaven position. The scout was still doing damage. They needed some more oomph, and getting even the player out from hut with the AK, nothing was found with that.
Yeah. Perfect stuff.
He loves the camera, doesn't he?
He does. He's having a great time out there. He's still up for elimination, of course. Let's remind you of that scenario.
Oh, good on him.
ONYX are 2-0 up, but this map could still go the way of Sinners. Very early doors here. And the loser of this one is done forever. Like, it's a qualification or elimination match. Zedko down for Arrow's part in the opening frag of the MAC-10. Kicking things off nicely.
I mean, realistically for Arrow, when is the next time he's going to play on a LAN event that's got teams like Gambit and Entropic and Big coming along? It might not happen for a while. So while you're here, take all of the experience possible.
Yeah. Have fun with it. Do some decent work.
Yeah. Impress some people.
Yeah, he's been impressive. He has been impressive, so there's always that. Shock trying to impress with the clutch, but again, just too far gone for that one. 1 casualty taken on Arrow's part. 3-0 to the start. ONYX now up against the guns.
Now, this is probably where we'll start more convincing stuff out from Sinners. We'll have that AWP out from Oscar. He's got the opportunity of trying to play outside, garage, credit card, relocating up to heaven, playing ramp. Very versatile player when it comes to Nuke. ONYX, though, have to start thinking to yourself, how many more outside players are we going to see? No AWP for Impulse just yet on T-side.
Incendiary's back. Smokes to try and block off vision. I think those Incendiaries won't really do much in terms of throwing those smokes off the diagonal, setting pretty nicely. The T's quickly making their way into the secret position. Oscar's trying to hunt for a gap, but there is none there. All players down there completely uncontested.
Yeah, it was a quick rotation from Zedko to drop into those vents, re-smoke off towards that secret position, slow that whole round down. There can be a quick rotation from Shock 2 out from the ramp position to try and help defend lower, and B-Stick's trying to make an info play outside. He's not seeing anything.
Minute and 10. Zedko still watching. Arrow backed up. Expecting there to be some sort of CT phase, but it's just still passive again. Sinners no need to aggress.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting to think that there was so much pace outside when those smokes went in, and then all of a sudden we've got a good 20, 30 seconds of silence.
Flash turned away from Zedko, still watching. Spotted 1, taking Dav down. Dimkey can turn it around. He's taken a lot of damage for it, though. Him and Bondik, less than 50 HP, close to 40 in the case of Bondik especially. Double doors to be the flank angle. The main entry point will be Decon. It's B-Stick to find Bondic elsewhere. I think towards the outside is where he got that particular frag. The bomb has crossed to get planted, though.
Now, what's Impulse got to do? Here, aggressive. Molly going into that left-hand side. Shop getting at least the damage in from both sides. They don't know how far Impulse has pushed up.
Give me the flank, man. He catches up that one individual. Face on the second, brings it into a 2v2. And that's the high HP players. Look at Neofrag and B-Stick's bars.
Out of there.
They're going to save. Yep, I think that's the best call.
Ooh, that was a juicy play coming out from Impulse. And he knows his teammate's getting the bomb down of Dimki. He's put a HE up, putting a Molly in. Hasn't really been able to find anything. He's been forced out from default. He's been caught. Impulse has got to make a play. 2v4 situation. Right, I'm going to aggress forward. Catches off a good timing of the AWP. The follow-up kill is really everything. He gets a second. Even picks up Oscar's AWP. So that's a free one.
And that's 4 rounds on T-side. You mentioned the T-side struggles for ONYX. This one, however, has not been a struggle at all. Sinners,
They may need those 12 rounds on CT, mate.
Oh, yeah, look, if they get 12 CT rounds, they've won the match at this stage, so exactly. I'll take it. I still established that I was right.
So what, they're not going to get any more T rounds?
Never know.
You never know. They're in a good position to really grind out this T side.
Tactical pause for Sinners here at this stage. A moment to try and figure out how not to allow it to get down that path, to stop the grind, stop the rounds pouring in for ONYX. Because it has been a pretty poor start from them.
Yeah. It definitely has, and they will feel it's only early stages. We haven't had a massive majority of rifle rounds so far, so let's get back involved. Surprised we're seeing not a lot of like team mouse mats or keyboards. I know the Asuba guys were rocking their own mouse mats with a couple of players. Like, this is prime time. We've been online for so many years now, well, the last couple of years because of COVID. Now you're back here at LAN with all the camera set up. Get the merch out there. Get the mouse pads. Get the keyboards. Get everything.
Marketing 101.
Absolutely.
There you go. Up in. That's opening frag 101 for Impulse. Shock. Dead in an instant. It's just a pistol on him, though. The 2 rifles being saved for B-Stick and Neofrag will be the basis of their setup. It's just hand cannons other than that. Offering a little bit of loss bonus that should enable a buyback. Taps forward to the Deagle, Zedco. Just blind firing, hoping for the best.
Again, to bring it up, Impulse is ranked second for success in opening duels at 72.2% coming into today. And over the course of this best of 3, he has won out a lot of opening man advantages.
Minute and 10 to the clock. He's up against Bondic. That AK held back at the squeaky corridor. Smokes. Try stop them. Flashes coming over. Molotov's down on the top of the hut. It's B-Stick with the next kill back on Arrow, so 4 versus 4 as that AK does its damage. Still held in the corner, and Bondic can punish him for it. Neofrag, also known as Oscar, drops next to Dimki. Neofrag on 35 points of HP, a 4 versus 2. Zedco still with the Deagle out, will try and provide some sort of support, but what support can they really do? They're up on A. What's he going to be?
I thought there was going to be at least a contention when B-Stick's able to get a trade back, and then no, not at all. Arrow's the only one to drop. Neofrag's been able to see an AK. So could go back to it. Doesn't probably want to give a sound cue away. So that's why he's just going right over it.
Run away. Save the M4.
Is that the fire and ice marble fade? Is that what they call it?
I didn't get a good look. I think actually, yeah.
No. Yeah,
I think
just
the
a
other
normal
side
one.
might be red. I'm not a big skin man. I'm not going to lie.
You got a knife though. You got a gut knife, don't you?
Yeah, it's not
Yeah,
great.
it's not great. No, it's a Doppler, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. There it is.
I think. I don't know. I wasn't really paying attention when I bought it, but... 5-0.
It's not only that when you bought it, it's how long you've had it.
It's been a few years, actually. It's been a very long time, dude. I can't remember everything.
It's been a long time since we've seen ONYX 5-0 up against Sinners.
Yes. Were they 5-0 up in their best of 1?
Well, they were 7-0 up.
Okay, so it has been a long time since we've seen this.
It's been since our best of 1 in day 1.
That is a slight concern again for Sinners, because seeing where that scoreline went for them...
Yeah, they had a crazy start.
And this being the deciding map of the best of 3 as well. ONYX are in prime position. On their T side of Nuke as well. I think some of the sides are starting to point back towards ONYX here. Not all of them, not yet. But we're looking good right now.
Yeah, just you have a look at the groups overall. It's not even just this game. We've seen some teams that have qualified through that we wouldn't expect, and some teams that have dropped out that we also wouldn't expect. ONYX, right now, put themselves in a prime position to start really working up this lead. And for Sinners, it's got to be quite frustrating knowing they're losing the opening man advantages. They haven't really kept many of these rounds competitive. And even for ONYX, just starting to get those outside smokes in. Zedko's going to be the closest player to call.
In the midst of that smoke, going to try find Arrow. Great flash in, great kill found. Made it look so easy as well. The M4 back of shot, not quite as easy for him. Headshots not quite connecting. Bondik and Dav with 2 frags back to return. The AWP of Oscar somehow lands on Bondik just before he burns in the flames. Beastic now towards Dark with 3 players to find. So our backup coming in towards Decon. So Zedko could provide some support, and even there actually rotates back towards double doors. Will they hard check Dark? With double doors opening up, they might not do. Beastic. Linchpin players, the scopes are hard. They will check it, but not all the way. Bomb can get denied. All important frag. Dimki turns it right back around, and it's Zedko now against 2. Dimki is low. The flashbang out a double. I force Impulse to make a mistake. Maybe fire out the AWP if possible. He's going to press up at the right position. Only land a leg shot somehow. Close those doors back down as the bomb will be secured.
Yeah, Dimki and Impulse really in a good position here, but Zedko's been able to isolate one. Needs to try and bait out the AWP with the low HP. Means the Deagle can come out, and Impulse winning another round for ONYX. And that one right there, they lose the pick outside. Arrow gets flashed in, or at least we see the way that the CT of Zedko gets outside, gets flashed over the top. Arrow falls. That ramp take is beautiful. Bondik's able to get a doming drive-by to start it off. The AWP of Oscar only gets 1. That lower take goes down, even though they don't completely clear their angles. How quickly that trade comes back from Dimki.
And good call there by Impulse to miss the AWP shot, switch right back out to the Deagle.
No, he got that tag, yeah.
Land the shot perfectly. Run boost missed out, unfortunately, there for Neofrag's M4. Hero M4 in this round. Still got $4,000 to play with. Generally a bit of a heavier buy than the usual eco. A half invest for the CT side.
Now, something I did see quite recently, shout out to Coalesce, was getting 2 players close towards the top of Garage on the blue bin and run boost over to the top of main. It's one of those setups that you can't see very often, because you know how you can like solo boost up to the blue big box on top of credit card, and then they run boosted that on top of main, catch them completely off guard.
Hold on, speaking of catching off guard, Neofrag is stuck ahead of the squeaky door. Dimki and Impulse will fall, and he's got a 4 versus 3 for his trouble. Trades there for Bondik, however, so they should maintain control of the situation. Zedko next up, taps burst fire, Molotovs coming in for his own trouble, keeping the heaven position suppressed. Oscar's Deagle getting close to landing. Arrow, 5 HP, he stays alive somehow. It's a 3v3.
That was good patience there from Bondik in the 3v4 to be able to just wait for that distraction to get pulled, get that bomb down finally. Dav really needs to step up here because his teammates have been tagged.
Especially in the case of Arrow, who shouldn't be able to last much longer here. Sinners are going for this retake. They haven't got a kit. If they can get even one more frag, it'll be worth it. Bondik makes contact. Zedko sees his head. Shock starts to lean in. Oscar's going to still get taken out by Arrow somehow. Dav there with a responsive, but Shock has found the kill back towards the man. So, again, 3 players to fall. That's a successful anti-eco, anti-half-by sort of round. Sinners will go down 0-7. And they should also get Bondik caught in the bomb blast. No, he'll be able to escape, I think, in time. Actually, no. Alright.
It's okay, there's heaps of money still.
Yeah, but still successful considering what they had there on the CT side. What's not successful is the scoreline. 7-0, and you mentioned that being the deadly scoreline, which ultimately turned the best of 1 to ONYX's favor.
Drop to arrow.
Yeah, they put themselves in a good position, really, with that 7-0. It did come down to them only getting an 8-7 half. You do have to remember, in that best of 1 on Inferno, they have really started to shake things up on the 3rd map of Nuke, and it's good to see because realistically, you have a look at some of the results, you have a look at some of the data of what we've got here on Nuke. On paper, could be a smashing blow by Sinners, and instead we're in a position where ONYX, the underdog, has actually really delivered in the start of map 3.
Yeah, we're still yet to see a real step-up performance from the boys over from Sinners, who would have thought that Neofrag would have been the man to get something going right here.
Looked like the play.
Yeah, not to be. Trade back from Bondik kept it all together, and then from there, the whole round kind of fell apart. ONYX, still stern, still quite calm about this. Surprised they're not getting hyper excited about the fact that the Sinners are down by such a margin. And they could be on to win the T half here. They're taking it slow. No reason to change it. There's no issues currently in their current play. They're still undefeated in this map up. I've got the double op set up to deal with this time, though.
Yeah, pretty sure it's the first time in the series we've seen it. It's something for Sinners that they don't bring out very often, Jay. When things aren't going right, they need to change it up. Shock or Zedco are normally the guys that can pick it up.
Zedco is going to be the man to lean in with the M4 instead. Heard there, Arrow's going to give away some info, but neither player can catch tags or frags. Oscar instead will get back downstairs, try to put this up into position. Quick peek, quick shot, quickly get out of dodge. Molotov's going to burn him. He does line up a frag. Arrow's there for a fast trade. Neofrag's there with 2 more, though. Looking for the triple. Impulse shuts him down.
Nah, the trades don't quite work out that fantastically. Impulse would love another pick. Open up those double doors, look in to the right side of T. Now it just comes down to the time wasting. 40 seconds left on the clock. This is a great chance for a Sinners round, and now ONYX been caught.
Zedco to catch the frag. Impulse 1 on 3. Leaning up to the left doorway. The bomb should get recovered, but it's a case of getting it planted, and now all his entryways are being marked off towards the B site. Up from vents, in from secret. AWP in particular, a Shock's going to be his biggest rival, the Orb v Orb battle. Opening the decon door. Can't get across. Somehow adjust to that kill anyway.
Very winnable. Now starting to clear out some of the positions. Not plan open for the double doors. 1v2.
Aren't safe, coming in still. Oh, the flick was so close, but undercooked a little bit. And there we go. There's the first round for Sinners at long last. It has been a very long time coming.
Yeah, and it comes down that round really to some of the advantages, the double AWPs, finding some level of impact. It was really mainly the rifles that got the main sort of level of contention. Even for Oscar, just that 1-for-1 didn't feel like it was enough. And then look what happens at Decon Stairs. The 2 kills in from that M4A1S really set that round up.
So let's just do like...
Tactical taken by ONYX this time. Their first one in this game.
Fuck it. Just do fast Navi smoke.
Once again, coaches and staff are looking generally pretty animated on this ONYX camp. First wise pause, I think, honestly, here for this one. Like, I'm very happy that they're going for these early takes and these early momentum shifts, if you will, because they just lost that one round. It could get out of control, or they can adjust.
Yeah, take some experience from the coach, take that tactical timeout, the 32-year-old that played on Zonic and ProWints, I believe. Not some of the well-known teams when it comes to the Adrian scene, but definitely a guy that they can share experience with. And when you look at this ONYX team as a whole, a lot of older guys. You've got a couple of 28-year-olds in there. You've got Dav at 30, Impulse up at 25, Zedco up and aggressive.
Yeah, frag with the frag on ONYX to start. Kill found as Dimki leans in, takes out the open vent corner, looks up. The top of half back will be turned. Beastix blinds the back though. Dimki can turn up with a kill and make it a 4 versus 3 despite that. Near frag, fast responsive. AK start leaning out. Impulse will get smoked off from this position. The AWP hoping you can see the man. He will catch the angle, but they both line up. Arrow and Impulse completely whiffing their chances. And Neo frag with a quadra in this round on for the ace. Dav might just give it up to him. Smoke should clear in a moment's time. It's all a case of timing here. Regardless, this should be a second round for Sinners, as now they're getting to full momentum here. Zedco with the backstab will close it out, and now they're looking good.
I'm not really sure how that AWP shot missed. It seemed as if the pre-aim was there entirely in from Impulse, and as soon as that shot doesn't come through, Neofrag just capitalizes. Crazy 4K in that round overall. And Impulse, even though we've seen some good stuff from him in these early stages of this last map, the first half, 12 and 4 wasn't able to find enough. Now the money situation is getting to a point where it's going to be Hero AK going into round 10.
I don't have.
2 AKs out for the CT side to Contraire, so by default Sinners have the better buy. Impulse, not even investing heavy to lopside the economy. He's going to get, I think he might have been given the AK actually by Dimki.
Dimki, yeah.
$1,300 for him. That way the head Kevlar can also come out for the AK player. They still have a relatively okay float as well. Not a lot of loss bonus here for ONYX, so I don't think it will lead to a true full buyback in the next one. Dimki's going to have to take some reservations. Everybody else should be fine, though.
You have to think to yourself, with this kind of a round, what the expectations are. They're going for the smokes, and, well, they're not the right smokes. They've gone for 2 diagonals and 1 for garage. What do you reckon happened there? Miscommunication?
That's my best guess. Leg shots as the kills coming against Arrow. Dimki's down to 6 points of HP. Counter smokes involved. Oscar will lean up from the Hell entrance C. One of the T-side players. ONYX going to dive down with him. Shock is standing by on the site. Orb set to the right-hand doorway. Scoping. That's awkward timing. But Zedco and Neofrag are there to find their responses anyway. Shock with a beat. 50 frag comes up anyway. All good on the same. The Impulse gets 2 frags on the way out, but those are the only 2 casualties taken by the CT forces. 3 alive. Triple in the round for Zedco. Triple rounds to double the Sinners.
Do you know what would really crush the hearts of ONYX is now going 7-7. You had that crazy way of just round after round after round. You get 7 in a row, and then you get answered back. We're getting to a position now, okay, I don't know how much credit you can put in that last round, considering it was only just a hero AK round. For ONYX, they can't afford to just switch off, because that is kind of what happened in that first half of that best of 1. They went 7-0 up. They only got an 8-7 half.
Fast phasing from the T-side players. Dimkey gonna get caught off guard first. Zedco is a slightly better spawn. A slightly better position for the opening frag. Aaron's going to dive up the top of the mini position, running towards mini itself, get beasting, trying to tap towards Neofrag, but can't secure that kill. Neofrag with a double instead, looking in for the triple and the quadra. Okay, Zedco stole one of those frags back, but it still looked impressive for Neofrag to secure that from the rafters. Sinners decimating now.
He looks on. This is scary. Neofrag is really starting to come alive. And when you have a look at Nuke over the last 3 months, it's typically Oscar that puts up an average 1.17 rating, Neofrag that puts up a 1.16 rating, and Neofrag, I will say it right now, Jay, I think for sure he is going to be the difference maker here out on Nuke. These last few rounds, he's starting to make some high impact plays.
It's up there on the top fraggers alongside Zedco at 14 picks thus far. Neofrag, of course, sitting at 13. Deagle's in for the ONYX side, so you should be seeing only a couple of frags in an ideal world, at least for the Sinners side. Half-bought pistols, again, Deco involved, shouldn't lead to any major economical damage. For ONYX, at least, they can buy back into round 13. Smoke set up as Neofrag just waits them.
And for anyone wondering why Bondic is starting to get his knife out at the door in Squeaky, it's just that I think it's 4 knife clicks to the right, and you're able to open up a small hole. It all just comes down to trying to see if you can create an angle.
Smart, I didn't know that before. So
yeah, it's different when you shoot. I think when you knife, you're able to make it easier for yourself.
I'm going to abuse that when I next take on Drowlon.
Yeah. You've already domed him, he's not even here.
He's probably watching from home, I'm not going to lie. Shot to arrow, Impulse trades back Neofrag, Zedco with another responsive at a 4 versus 2 scenario. Having another good exit here. AWP turned up and almost turned out. The likes of Oscar. Shot missed out though, so 3 on 2. The bomb can be secured here, so there's extra money at least for the T's.
I got another smoke down a single door. Oh, I thought that double doors were going to get opened up. Bonnie could still do damage, and he's seen Zedco.
Spotted a pixel gap for him. A counter flash forward. Deagle's going to face aggressive. Going a bit awry on that one. The smoke's still in play, especially that decon smoke. That means that B-Stick can't face. Dav eventually caught off as Zedco shoots to the back, and Dav gets caught off by B-Stick. So the round recovery is done well there by Sinners, but the fact that they let a bomb plant go and 2 casualties on that round, like they're letting a lot of room go to the favor of the ONYX side. Not enough that they're getting the round steals themselves, but that's a bomb plant, that's money.
Yeah, and honestly, sometimes that comes down to giving the respect, Jay, is being in a situation where you say, you know what, give us a couple of kills, give us a bomb plant, doesn't matter. As long as you're converting the rounds, and rather than just keeping pressure on and buckling under it, they have given a lot over to this ONYX side to keep these rounds costly. Sinners, though, it's 5 in a row, and that's what they're going to be maintaining.
Double op set up in for the CT side as well to try and do that. Done pretty well in terms of maintaining the big green guns.
Ooh, this is aggressive.
Aggression from Neofrag. We'll
No
try
way.
and look for them. I think Bondic just fired. I don't know if he detected him going up to the top of the roof, or clearly not. Dav's caught off guard. All important frag. The perfect sneak through. Zedco's found 2, meanwhile, towards the outside yard. Impulse trying to trade in, but it's him and Bondic standing in a 2v5.
Jeez, that's so ballsy, and even Impulse can't hit with the orb. Bondic's on T-roof, exactly where Neofrag was, and Neofrag might even find a multi-kill. It all just comes down to a matter of timing. Bondic gets the backstab, it's 1 kill, shouldn't be any more than that.
They should be able to just hunt him down, or otherwise defend against wherever he goes from here. They've got all the info they need. What will be 6 in a row for the Sinners side, and you mentioned that 7-0 to 7 all. That's very possible now. I'd say it's actually kind of likely. And Bonnet's got to be kicking himself as well, knowing that if he peeked in a second earlier, he might have caught that play, stopped him from getting to T-roof, and then shutting the whole round down.
Yeah, Bondnik might just try and throw the AK over to that right-hand side, over the fence, just to make sure there's no way it can get picked up by Beastic. I don't think he's even going to be able to get there in time. No, he's got somewhat close. Yeah, that's a play that you don't see very often, getting up the ladder like that, and it comes down to a matter of positioning and guts. Because if anyone's playing lobby, you're pretty much done. It just happens that they were so passive in lobby, they didn't see it.
And timing, as was based and proven in that particular round there. I kind of feel like they got off a little bit lucky, honestly, but they're not going to be complaining. ONYX will, though. Tactical pause. Once again, intense discussion seeming to go on in that camp. It's funny as well, because every time we've seen an ONYX tactical pause, I mean, usually the players themselves have been pretty nonchalant, pretty laxed about it. Obviously, we've seen a lot of Arrow and how his showboating and smiles go on, but then you take a look at the coach and he's just like, no, guys, like, think about this, think about that, and doing all that regular sort of coach business. Yeah. Definitely taking it seriously. It's very intense stuff coming in from the ONYX camp, because they've actually got a good chance to win this map still. Yeah,
maybe Kassad knows a little thing about that. A lot of the teams that he was a part of with the Aussie guys, they didn't have much emotion at all. So I guess that is the extra ability, you could say, of a coach, of trying to see if you can get something laid over across, try and give some more emotion to the players, because definitely for this ONYX side, they have been sort of quite mellow.
Mellow out the CT streak here, try and break it if possible. A single round separates the two squads. The Sinners are hunting for their 7-all, their 8-7 half of the CT side to recover their CT half. Arrow's just jumping up, looking towards the outside control, hoping there's somebody out there that will give up an aggressive face. No one's going to do that, though. Again, it's passive.
It just feels as if ONYX are starting to run out of steam too. They haven't been able to manage an opening man advantage for a while now, and just look at the map control taken outside. Neofrag might overextend, easy kill for Bondnik, or maybe not.
Would have been sure.
Yeah, crosshair placement not quite on. Neofrag is just so ballsy. He's been making so many of these aggressive plays.
Hey, look, it worked for him.
It does, yeah.
It's fine. Oscar's aggressive play now going to come towards outside. He's going to miss his window against Arrow. He's smoked off, so I don't even think that AWP would have got into an appropriate position in time.
Still can see nothing outside, so that's information too.
Shot with his own AWP set in from hell, looking out to the radio entrance. In a ramp from the T's being tentative about their peaks. They're throwing utility, but they're backing off. They're going to go back towards the A play. Neofrag has spotted one and knows that he can't continue the aggression here. If he got that kill, it's a one-and-done position with his HP numbers, and Arrow will prove the point. 4v4. Headshot found. B-Stick still sat at the back of the site. Player's going to face with right-hand side. He fights on Dimkey and wins it out, so advantage favors Sinners for this retake. Arrow's focus 5. B-Stick gets a double, and Dav trades it back.
Zedko's the unknown entity. Impulse has finally seen where he is. Needs to try and turn around, and Zedko's just wasting time. They know exactly where Impulse is, out towards the squeak door position. Both players really having a tough time winning out this fight. Finally, Impulse strikes.
And 5-7 just spams way forward for Oscar and catches him through that smoke. He knew who he was. He saw him before it bloomed. Just the case of finding the right bullet at the right time. 7-all, 7 in a row. Sinners seem to have siphoned ONYX off from any chance of getting the T-side half.
Now, I wondered to myself, Jay, should I have mentioned the 7-7 at all, or should I have just stayed quiet?
No, you should. You just jinxed it. They're going to blame you later.
Maybe. You have a look at these CT rounds being won, and just the lack of bomb plans really coming through from ONYX. And this is not even the Oscar show. He's only got 4 kills, 8 deaths. Zedko and Neofrag are the ones that are really stepping up. They're making aggressive plays. They're winning out a lot of their opening fights. And it just feels as if any time they even make a play that slightly looks like a mistake, they're not getting punished for it.
That's brilliant as well, because obviously Neofrag is the second man. Like, he's the second star.
Yeah.
We talk so much about how Oscar can take over individual games and essentially beat out tier 1 teams on his lonesome, and he has the potential to do that. But in terms of the team itself, they have other players in other star roles. And even Zedko's making a name for himself and making a point for his own consideration. Neofrag will set himself up as standards. B-Stick, the man on the bomb site. He's waiting with the AK. Expecting some T-side contact out of Squeaky. I don't think they're going to check this position. Flashbangs Not going to connect to him. He's wide up. Oh, can only get the one frag for him. But Neofrag's got 2 picks of his own. Arrow there in one trade. And now Oscar with his pistol. Not even required. Shock gets the AWP frag. Neofrag up at Rafters. That's 8 in a row to win the CT half for Sinners.
Yeah, Sinners just coming alive, and they'd love to be able to join Asuba up towards the top end of the group, get into the next stage. Fun fact as well, before Zedco and Shock joined this team, they were a part of Asuba. So that's something to always consider. When you come down to some of the smaller regions, it seems like every player has played with everyone at one point or another.
Yeah. Especially when it comes to country-based teams.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
No Slovakians on this team, though, like it has been for Asuba. That'd be great, though, to have like sort of 2 Czech teams to top the group. Sinners would definitely be a favourite for sure, but Asuba weren't. You'd probably think, AGO were probably the favourites to make it out, like 1 and 2 with Sinners.
I would have thought, AGO and Sinners would be my bet, obviously.
Yeah.
Things have not worked out that way.
Yeah, even in the other group, probably Vizsla and Fiend. And Vizsla already gone too.
Oh, this group stage has been a mess, hasn't it? USP's out for the CT side as we get straight into the pistol round. Beast is there for the trade back on Dimky. Neofrag doing a similar amount of effect down with 1 trade back to a 3-on-3 scenario. He doesn't last long. Bonded coming in from the ramp control back at the B side, desperately looking for some sort of pick here. Oscar's tagged up so heavily in this, but he just can't finish the fight. Arrow now out towards the control room. A 1 versus 3, tapping up the USP, but he's got to escape.
And my only analysis there is that was quick. That was so fast coming through from Sinners. So much chaos out to that ramp position, and eventually it means that Arrow, the player at lower, has got to win a 1v3.
Of course, they planted on the upper site at least, opening up the locker rooms, looking down towards Hell, hoping there's somebody in the entrance that we can find a pick back, but no. The one from Sinners will give up that position. They'll back up towards the site, flanking from Oscar. We'll spot him. Oh, he's done for knife. Come on.
Yes.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Here we go.
We love it.
Stabby, pistol, and knife rounds to the favour of Sinners.
Of course, it's got that extra bonus of a 1500 kill reward.
Oh, yes.
So, yeah. You get a knife in, you get some extra damage. Sometimes even see orbs coming out. Won't see it for this time for Oscar. Sinners. Yeah, that was just reckless, really, on the pistol. And this streak of rounds is just so out of hand now.
I remember playing a part where someone got 4 knife kills on the pistol and fought an M4 in round, an AWP in round 2.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's quite funny.
It's always nice.
9 rounds in a row for Sinners, by the way.
Yeah.
Following it up from the CT half. Looking with pistols, SMGs. Not a lot of anything really for the CT side to work with. A couple of pieces of head Kevlar for Bondic and Dav. Straight out of the gate for sure. Caught off by that flash. So Arrow can get 1 good trade, but Neofrag there with 2 on the rifle. Not a lot of damage being done by the SMGs. Eventually Beastie comes up with 1 good frag, but that might be the only one in this round for the MAC-10s. Neofrag actually drops towards Dav here, so there might have to be a bit more work being done by Oscar, Beastie, and Zedco. And you can imagine the Impulse and Dav might want to go for this unless they get the AK back. I think it was dropped on the near side of the boxes at Tetris rather than the CT's positions. I don't think they can pick it up. Still facing, still try to look for these picks and eventually back off. Try and save that head Kevlar for Dav.
There it is, right there.
There you go.
Oscar, even outside, continuing to do damage. There's another player of Impulse, very close, in an angle you don't see held very often. Oh, he doesn't even find anything. And I will say, Jay, I don't often feel sorry for teams, because why would I? But in this one, 7-0 up, and then you lose 10 rounds in a row. You're trying to prove to yourself that the best of one wasn't just a fluke, that you can actually beat a team like Sinners, a top 30 team in the world, on LAN. And this is the outcome now. It just feels as if it's such a far-gone conclusion. Even though the difference is only 3 rounds, it's the mental state of what ONYX is like now.
Yeah, I think they've still got 2 tacks, so they can probably still try and reset that mental state, but obviously, like, you're right. This is
just
not
tilted beyond belief.
Yeah, this is a choke, and the kind of one that could get even further out of control. Want to make it even worse, imagine 16 in a row for Sinners. That would...
Now it's not going to happen, Jay.
I'm jinxing it so that we can actually see an interesting match.
Yeah, now we can get an overtime. I mean, this round's not going to bring much. You might have a couple of HEs over the top. Might be something, but yeah, can't expect much.
See if the MAC-10s can get some money. Frag. Arrow's going to get that first kill, and now, yeah, the kill star just pouring in for the T side line. Easy pickings there for the crunch. Easy, easy, easy all day. 11 to the board of Sinners and ONYX. Now have guns. This is the focal point.
I want to see a Dimki special. He was a guy on Nuke against Asuba who was doing pretty well in the anchor rolls on the top bomb site with Arrow crossfiring one another. I think Dimki was playing a lot of Mustang, a lot of top of Hut. He's 7-15, Jay, and for a guy that we've been hyping up, a guy that typically puts up an average of a 1.20 rating on Nuke, it feels as if the main man for ONYX, outside of Impulse, of course, is just not delivering.
Yeah, I have to agree on that front.
Knowing how great of an event he's had so far, it sucks to know that this is how map 3 is going for him.
Well, at least Dav has found the opener. Beestick has fallen. Dimki is down to 35 HP, and Dav will get traded back by Zedco's Mac 10, so top of the mini hut. Take it back to a 4 versus 4. Waiting for another chance to present itself for the CT side. They tried to catch that aggression off guard. They just held the main force here in the lobby position. Waiting for the execution to come in.
Now, they definitely didn't hold on to that man advantage for very long, and now it can start bringing in that attribute of the upper bomb site hit, allow Zedco to be that lurk outside. Dimki's going to put an Incendiary down to Heart.
Incendiary's coming out for the T-side line as well, trying to work their way in from Squeaky. Zedco's going to dive down to the Heaven entrance, and they've caught off the play into ramp. Bondik, awkward flashbang there, does not catch the T-side players at all. The AWP will fire back, and Bondik will do some damage towards Shock. That flank is still coming in towards the fence angle, which might not be needed. He's going to cut off rotations instead, see where Arrow is, but Arrow still finds the pick.
And that was actually a slight surprise, knowing that Arrow went out that fight. Neofrag, beautiful angle to try and work with. He's got a teammate of Shock, and he's just playing time.
Gets out of there barely, gets a lot of damage back, and Impulse can trade onto Shock, so now it's a 1v1. Orp versus AK. Impulse trying to look for Oscar, has no info to his position to see where that bomb is. A flashbang out, and now position is being revealed. Impulse can see where that bomb is. It's still in the open, taps it, looks left and right. Oscar just trying to bait him in. Shots. Looks away at the wrong bottom and all. Impulse.
Nightmares.
Oh God.
Literal nightmares
Like,
for days.
That is the worst way. The worst way to lose a round like that.
If he gets jiggled and he misses the shot, fair play. He's outplayed me there with the jiggle. He's just outplayed him with the timing, Jay. Oh, you do not like to see that at all. Sinners, 12 rounds in a row. My goodness, invited teams, you've got to be scared about these guys.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes, 100%. I mean, Sinners have even been taking on higher level squads in other tournaments as well.
That is true.
So these guys are already relatively on the radars of these squads.
They're playing really forward.
The way that they're playing to deal with the likes of ONYX. This one is going to get out of control real quick, you can imagine. Still yet to score a round off the back of that 7-round streak for ONYX. It's 12 in a row for Sinners. Probably 13, given the way this is going. There's Deagle's out, so there is an outside chance. But again, all the momentum is with the Sinners.
Yeah, we've seen some very good streaks over the course of this entire event so far, Jay. 7 in a row, 8 in a row at times. 5 in a row, then answered one back, then another 5, whatever it may be. But 12 in a row is just something we have not seen.
60 seconds to the clock, smoked the cross.
At least they know that outside's a fake because they've got Dav in secret.
Look onto that position and just make sure the Molotovs and such being thrown inside will now indicate where the real hit comes in from. Impulse tapping on. Beestick will get towards the top of the mini. Way through from Shock blind as Beestick will catch that opening frag on Dav. Man advantage for Sinners, and they can still play around the B drop, but as Beestick gets more picks and they might just win this on kills alone. Impulse, next victim. Dimki can be next casualty, indeed he is, alongside Arrow. Bondik far out of the flank, 1v5, naded now, tagged up, sprayed through, going for wallbangs, going for the kills, and they'll find it, all 5 alive.
And typically on the T side of Nuke, Jay, you want to dictate pace, you want to create space, you want to get map control. That round almost felt like, hey ONYX, you make the play. We're just going to slow down. We're going to spread out. We're going to get Beestick outside. There's the fake top site XE. There's the outside smokes. And just look at what happens. Beestick is able to catch a couple of players outside in sort of that whole lobby position. They're just waiting for the aggression out from Squeak Door. They're waiting for the aggression out from Heart. They're waiting for the aggression out in ramp. Just waiting for mistakes. That's all it is.
M4 Zorps. Rebuy back for ONYX. Sinners on victory row. 3 from taking this series. Even when it felt like ONYX were going to put them in a bit of a weak spot, Not happened here. Sprayed through. Arrow with the frag. B-Stick there with a trade back to a 4 versus 4. He's burned quite significantly, so he still finds a pickback of his own. Almost a double up. Zedko will drop him, and they know that Dimkey might have dropped off. He's got the bomb in his control, so they've got to face him out Squeaky, and ONYX will catch another good frag. Oscar and B-Stick. B-Stick on the counter flank. Flashbang ahead for Oscar. Will try and escape the hut position, but the AWP of Impulse has other ideas. He does catch Dimkey on the way out, though, so it's B-Stick. 1 on 2, up in heaven, making noise. Drop down onto the site, and now ONYX is well aware. Other side of the silos, and engages from the flank angle. B-Stick to drop, and that is the 13-round streak of Sinners finally broken. ONYX with their first CT round on the board.
I was really expecting Dav to just move the seat back, really get up, pump that they've ended the streak at 13 in a row.
No, because you've got nothing to celebrate off the back of 13 rounds in a row. Like, you've lost all sorts of control.
Yeah, might be right. Yeah.
No, I'm wrong quite a lot, so it's a good assumption to make. Tactical pause taken by Sinners. I'm not wrong about that. And again, I love it. Instant momentum break. You've lost your round streak. How do we get it back?
Honestly, you couldn't have called it at a better time, and that shows the top class that this team has. They're borderline looking for that next opportunity at the higher echelons of Counter-Strike. They're 25th in the world. Yeah, they've had a slow start here in this event. They lost the best of 1 against ONYX. They bounced back against AGO in that evening of day 1. And now in day 3, it seems as if they're fighting back. Still, though, 13 rounds in a row, the game's not over. Take the tactical, reset, bounce back in, because they can break the economy. Even going into that 22nd round, knowing that there was only 2 players staying alive, Dav's going to be on a FAMAS going into 22.
So much economy left in reserve for Sinners as well. Like, all those rounds didn't just come in, they came in confident. 5 in a row, of course, in this half has enabled the economy state to bolster up to max loss bonus for ONYX. They've got a little bit of fallback cash. Will be knocked back by 1. So $2,900 as opposed to the standard 34 of max. With a heavy investment, that won't be enough for a definitive buy for these boys. Molotov's in, Dav forced away from Vents, going to reposition, counter flash. B-Stick and near frag to engage, and they engage unsuccessfully.
They got Arrow there with a good timing down from the vent positions. Echo towards outside, trying to see if they can split into main. Nothing Impulse can do.
Arrow back out towards the open vent corner. Players coming in from Mini. Zedko catches the kill. Impulse to fall. Arrow's told back in trade. Dimkey still in the back lines of the site, and ONYX with a flank will catch off Shock. Look for Oscar. Next up, 1 player versus 3, and he's never going to clutch that, and ONYX are back in the game.
Yeah, that was actually some pretty good protocols coming through from ONYX. They rotate Arrow down to that lower bomb site to help out Dav. They get the opening man advantage. They force Arrow back up to the vents. Impulse sees the lurk smoke outside that they're splitting into main. They're able to have a good crossfire being set. Dimkey's able to multi-frag with that M4ONS towards the back of the default silos. And ONYX now make it a couple in a row.
Still forced to catch up to Sinners, so it's not quite as one-sided as it looked like initially. Guns back in, AKs, AWPs, another buyback for Sinners. As I mentioned before, they got plenty of cash. Kind of more important that the CT side would have won that last round comparison to what Sinners could have done. Got 2 AKs out of that as well, so extra firepower. Still got to bolster the economy state, though. 3 players, less than $1,000, and 2 of those players have 50 and 0.
Yeah, Dav could be on to some more. Probably needs to get a flash outside rather than just going in for a dry peek. Pretty sure Zedko's holding the angle.
Oh, indeed he is, and Dav didn't look up to the top of side. He was focused on the outside control. That's an all-important punish pick, and a start out for Sinners again.
No flash, no nothing, just a dry peek. And yeah, that's ballsy, it's risky, it doesn't pay off at all. Impulse has been able to readjust going into lockers. He needs to strike with at least an AWP pick.
Looks out to Garage and turns back towards the outer yard, and Mystic somehow evading contact, not even looking towards that position. I still think that AWP fired, so I think he might be aware of B-Stick's close range position. Or is he? Hold on. He's moving away from position, looking out AC boxes. B-Stick's held towards the corner.
Oh, I think
There's
he knows.
Impulse. Yeah, he should be able to connect the dots here. Check position and still has to scope in. Still has got to adjust to the man. He wasn't expecting that angle.
Yeah, just trying to clear it all out. Impulse finally recognizing another lurk, and for Sinners, that was probably the crunch play to help out that upper bomb site take. Impulse and Arrow defending A.
Smokes up, counteractions from the CT. Forces missed out. Squeaky's completely open. Mini smoked off successfully, though, as Dimkey sprays through. Zedko with a trade and doubles up all the same. Got Arrow on the back of the site, face towards bomb, plant prioritized, and that cost Zedko with 10 seconds left for Oscar. He can't clutch this. He's out of here, saving the AWP, conceding 10 to ONYX. He does find ONYX on the way.
Just hold on to that AWP, bring it to the next round. Know that the economy situation isn't that great. And Arrow just on the defensive hold, making sure he capitalizes on an important pick. Dimkey holds his ground. They don't really clear out the bomb site. They were probably too eager to get that bomb down. They should have cleared it out for Shock. It doesn't quite happen. It means that Oscar's got a difficult time winning that 1v2 with the time low. ONYX have now made it 3 in a row, and they've reset the economy.
Yeah, buyback looks awkward. They have to buy the AK to get something out for the AWP support. The 3 pistols other than that. Sinners not with a fantastic setup at all. Neofrag, first player out of the gate. Dav, seen Neofrag. AK engage, wins it out, kicks things off. Neofrag's taking a lot of damage though.
Yeah, that was a great play to start off. A lot of pace towards outside. The ROPS played down there into the top of main, not quite on the slide. Still getting there quick to catch Dav off. For Sinners, they probably need another pick, and they need to try and pick up a CT weapon if they can.
Yeah, especially considering the Neofrag and Oscar are extremely low. Those are the only 2 players with Kevlar as well. Arrow gets overly aggressive, but does win out that fight. Neofrag with a responsive, almost gets a triple. Oscar's a wallbang shot, connects to Arrow instead. Dimkey can pick up the bomb, dropped again by the M4. 3v2. He gets recovered regardless. They're going to rotate through ramp. They should be giving away this information. The CT should be aware. The adjustment is the big concern, and now Oscar can step up with his 2 frags. Dimkey, 1v3. This could be the eco steal for the Sinners side. Oscar just baiting him out. He gets through vents, makes the noise for it, and Neofrag is going to try and counteract him. The bomb's been planted. Shock's also in position with P250 in hand. All sorts of T-side players closing in from all sorts of angles. Dimkey, he's got so much to do.
He probably needs to just back off and save. This 1v3 is not going to happen, and he's getting out of there. We talk about the players being tilted. Man, I'm tilted in that round. That is one that should never be lost by the ONYX side.
Yeah.
There is a hero AK that gets bought in by Neofrag, a hero AWP that gets saved in by Oscar. Yes, okay, Dav gets caught out from credit card. Slow it down. Make sure you got the protocols. They aggress forward with no nades. It's Bondic and Arrow pushing in to hunt, and they're even trying to hunt down onto the AWP, but Dimkey should be able to hold onto this AWP at least. Will might have to connect onto another shot. Doesn't quite come in. ONYX, though, just feels like 1 step forward, 2 steps back with that round.
It does, especially when you consider that the loss bonus has now been taken back 3 steps as well. So we're looking at, I think, $1,900.
Rubbish buy, whatever it is.
Not a lot of cash, not a lot of investment. There will be SMGs and such that AWP need to stay in for Impulse, obviously. What a steal for the Sinners, and one that is going to hurt ONYX big time. From RC's in to SMGs, 1 M4, 1 AWP, and a fast rush out for the Sinners. They want to spare no mercy. Mac 10 will try and look for the first pick, but Bondic comes up good. B-Stick is dropped, Neofrag next to face, but Bondic is next to fall.
CTs need to keep pressure on, need to keep committing to some of these fights. Arrow getting double bullied, backs off so quick.
Flashbang in the mix as well, Zedco. Flashback in, the smoke's coming back down for them. Plant has been secured. 4 versus 4. Arrow bases round, gets the kill back. Neofrag with a spray. Maintains the 3v3 scenario. Dav's got 2 lined up though. Shock now in the back lines of the site. Standing by, waiting for double doors to open up, dishing out damage to 2 more players. Looks up to the window and just can't get it done. ONYX will continue to stay alive, continue to keep match point away from Sinners.
It just felt for Sinners, they were sort of caught in hesitation there, Jay, around those double doors position. They weren't sure if they wanted to completely over-aggress or go passive. They got caught in 2 minds, and it allows Dav just to swing out wide, find some impact with a multi-frag, put pressure onto that last player. ONYX, that's a much-needed one.
Tactical taken, I imagine, by Sinners here. Indeed, it is being called by the Sinners camp. Again, momentum broken. Again, a time to shift things back to your favor if you can do so. In their 3rd one called in this map.
Klidně taky, ale bacha, nemají moc dobrý prachy. Už teďka měli MP9.
It's very tense at the moment.
Yeah, it is. And for Sinners, it's probably less tense for them. They've got themselves in a good position. The money float is pretty decent. It all just comes down to an answer back. And looking at the money in the reserve from the CT side, ONYX need to convert round 26. They lose this, they probably lose the game.
100%. 100%. 3 rounds to make up. Sinners need 2 to take the victory and move forward to the main event to eliminate ONYX as well. B-Stick will lead the charge. Up and out with Arrow down in the center of the site. Nice nade in. That's a bit of a start here for the ONYX camp. Not quite a kill, but damage is done.
That's a lack of information towards outside. They're walking down, so they're being silent about their approach, and even the lower player of Bondic isn't even playing out to observation or from double doors. He's actually on top of the default silos, meaning that they're only going to get the contact and the information when there is contact on the side.
Receiving utility as well. Should be aware that they're now down definitively through Secret and into the corridors. Walking out to Decon, little does he know. Might need some backup here. You have got Dav up towards ramp that can provide a little bit of support when he rotates the position. By the Molotovs in, they open doorways. Bondic gets one. Neofrag there with a quick trade. Dav trying to get to the site, but can't deny the bomb plant.
Yeah, getting smoked off, and there's so much util for the T's to work with. This is just going to slow the retake down.
Flash off to the right, peek into the left. Oscar going to continue arresting to right as well. Might have heard Dav there. Re-smoke on for the T side means that you can't extend to get the kills. And the CTs, I think they're backing off. One player making his way towards the lobby. Yeah, safe call, and they still lose Dimkey.
Oh, that's rough. Whenever you want that call to be saved, you need to be making sure that everyone's staying alive. Even Arrow could drop. Why is he still so aggressive in ramp? Oh, he's done for. Neofrag's going to start spamming through. So much HP, they can keep hunting.
I think they will do. Arrow might be able to escape. I think he will just be able to maintain his life. Oh boy, that got a little bit dicey for ONYX towards the end. The save call is successful for 3 individuals. With the buyback on the players that fell, it's going to be rough. They will have full rifles, limited utility sets. It's map match and group stage point for Sinners.
Unfortunately there for Bondic, even at lower, he doesn't have that opportunity of getting a frag and putting a smoke down, wasting time, slowing that round down. He gets one kill and just gets traded instantly. Dav on that quick rotation from Vent just gets smoked off, he gets mollied. There's no way that he can push forward, and ONYX, they're going to have to rest it into OT.
Outside control again coming in from Sinners, exact same play as last time, a little bit slower on this default. Smoke out to that cross should eventually lock out any angle that the CTs want to look for. B-Stick will be the first man in, but it's a slow walk to give no info up to Dav.
No, Dimkey's actually playing lower this time around rather than Bondic, and he's playing out to that single door. Dav outside is still waiting for the cross. Hasn't seen anything just yet.
Be a matter of time. Smoke's about to clear there at the downstairs corridors. A flashbang in for Dimkey as he jumps faces. Spots them. Opens the econ, gets back to the site, ready to receive them a double door. Neofrag knows where he could be. He lines up to Oscar with a responsive. Meanwhile, outside, Arrow and Dav combined. Shot's going to fall for it. 4 versus 2 situation. Make it 1. And it looks like we're not done yet. ONYX continue to maintain their lives here on Nuke.
And that's a great round coming out from Dimkey. Just the protocol that as soon as he sees the information just jump spotting out from single door, he's able to get back in, look over to the double, and he's able to find a multi-kill. That is just the play that needs to get needed. And even for Bondic, he strikes at ramp and continues putting pressure on by forcing forward.
Just when you think ONYX might be done here, we are still playing this one out. And it's not just their lives in this series, it's their lives in the tournament. This is an elimination game, a decider match of this group stage. And a small tech pause coming out for the ONYX camp as well. Bit of poor timing on that particular front, honestly. Just want to get a little bit of momentum going, it's trapped down immediately.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for ONYX to keep this up, though. The economy game for Sinners isn't great, so they're going to eco in round 28, get a buy into round 29, and if we do need to go to round 30, the Lost Boaters should be okay with a bomb plant in 29 to get themselves a decent buy forward.
Okay, this should at least be a 13th. ONYX just need to not bottle it. Tech 9s and Deagles, a Glock out of a Zedco. He'll be the player you're looking at as easiest to fall. It's slow. It's very quiet. Unnerving. Sinners try and throw off ONYX in any sort of mind games that they can.
It all comes down to the opening pick here for Sinners. Just trying to see if they can isolate one. Looks as if they're going in for one of these top side plays. Dimkey in the top of hard.
Yeah, Frag spamming through the wall. Bondic still watching for the rotations here. He's expecting him to come out from the ramp position. Almost expecting us to be able to commit to that, but no, they're going to wait back in lobby and go slow walking.
I wonder if they expected a vent dive in that position. Impulse now going out towards ramp.
Seeing the first. Flick shot does not connect. Flashbang to try and keep him away. Got Bondic on the site, and they're going to wrap out towards the Hell entrance instead. Dav gets out of dodge, escapes his life, just barely gets the kill back on Zedco. Can double up. Oscar there with a responsive. Now a rifle to play with for 45 seconds, and Dimkey gets a trade back, looks for his double. Struggles to get it back on Oscar, but a 4 versus 2. And that bomb being dropped outside in the open, more time being stalled for with that kill coming in. That's to secure the ground.
Now, they know where Arrow is towards that vent position, but it might only be one kill. That doesn't even come through. 13 up for ONYX. 2 more to go to get into this overtime. Now, keep an eye out for how much money is left in the reserve for Sinners after this buy. They don't want to buy down completely if they can.
AK should be bought in at the very least. Or can't be afforded. But they will leave nothing in the reserves for the T sideline. It's do or die for round 29. Austin in for Impulse as well. Of course, standard rifle set in for ONYX. Outside control for Dow, trying to force the issues. Headco on Silo, marked off by Impulse is all. We saw bloggers playing this throughout the course of the last couple of days, and he lands that shot. Zedco's fallen.
A great start coming in from ONYX, and now for Sinners, pressure goes on to what is the follow-up. Knowing that that pick came in outside, and Dav is still so aggressive, they can start rotating the rest of those CTs away.
23 seconds to the minute. B-Stick. No info, no inkling. There might be a player out here. He'll check it anyway. There'll be a kill coming in. And so much damage done to Neofrag on a follow-up. A 4v3 might as well be 2. And Sinners just can't seem to secure this 16th.
Now, what a sequence from Dad. 1 kill and that dink coming through onto Neofrag. The Sinners really need to try and pull off a miracle. Someone needs to step up individually. They've got some space and map control down towards lower of Oscar. He's the one with the bomb.
And again, it goes quiet. Again, Sinners want to give nothing.
Could just be saving. Just hold on to 3v4. Bring the AKs into the next round.
Well, Neofrag being back at spawn, that makes a lot of sense. No buyback for them. Not a lot of cash in reserve. So keep a hold of these weapons. Get some AKs back in amongst the rest of the buyback that the Sinners will feature. And this will be 14. We'll go to round 30. ONYX. Just when you think they're out, man. Just when you think they're done. After choking 13 rounds in a row against Sinners and everything, they still find the will to fight on.
I don't know.
What do we think? Overtime?
It's very likely. The loss bonus is only 2,400. So Zedco and B-Stick are going to be able to get not a lot out, really. They've got to make sure that Oscar doesn't fall. Thought for a moment Arrow is going to make an aggressive move. And money's just not great here at all.
I can drop one more hit. No, nice. Pistol, maybe.
Where do we go from here? What can they possibly do? 15-14. Sinners still a good play away. Still one good execution from winning this map and this series. They've got a Deagle and a Tech 9 for Zedco and B-Stick. So there are upgrade pistols. It's not a complete light eco from them, as you would expect. It's a forced investment. AKs on Shock, Oscar, and Neofrag. Those are the guys you're watching out for.
Man, look at the aggressive play coming through from ONYX. 2 players out from ramp. They want to try and crunch into lobby.
This is perfect for Bondic. If he can just find the face in on the lobby crunch, get the kill together, and that could be enough. They've stacked in towards Squeaky instead, though, so the pressure rests on Arrow. He's going to let them all cross and didn't even check it. Dimki can find one trade shot with a responsive. A 4v3. Down on the Heaven has no idea that Shock's so far extended. Bondic's fallen. The backstab's fallen. ONYX have fallen. Impulse. 1v4. And surely this should be it. Surely he can't go any more than this. He finds Zedco at least, the AWP. They're going to pull off something nuts at this one. Opens the squeaky door, but Neofrag returns with a wall-bang headshot. And indeed, it will be 16-14. A 3-map affair for the Sinners, but they've done it. Eliminated ONYX, making their way into the main stage.
And they were really tested, though. ONYX put up one hell of a fight against the 25th best team in the world of Sinners. And even in that last round, that was such a dry upper execution. I don't know if it was the pressure or maybe some miscommunication, but it seemed like Arrow just had no idea that they burst out of Squeak Door.
Yeah, and considering he's such a young player, we kind of halfway expected him to make some similar mistakes like that over the course of the last handful of days, but that was the worst possible time to bottle it, like he shouldn't have done. He really should have held his own. He really should have held that back line, because as a result of that, Sinners have the round. I don't think they should have lost that. I really think we should have been in overtime here. Like, yeah, that was a really, really poor defensive.
Again, I don't want to put too much criticism on him. I want to put criticism on the team. How do you lose 13 rounds in a row? You can look at that and say, oh, 1 round made the difference and we didn't go to overtime. They also were up 7-0 and then it went 7-13. It wasn't good enough for ONYX. They needed to find some more consistency. And for Sinners, they've made their way forward. They've moved into the next stage.
No, absolutely. Like, there are many things other than that, but that last round is going to be the thing that sticks in people's minds because it really should have been held together. There really should have been a defensive involved there for the ONYX side, but you're right, 13 rounds in a row when they were 7-0 up, when they were looking like they were going to replicate that best-of-1 performance, and ultimately it doesn't come through for them, Dwayne. ONYX out of the tournament, and it kind of sucks a little bit to see that happening in that sort of fashion, but that is what it is, and that is the way Counter-Strike goes down. Man of the match for you?
Probably has to be Neofrag. I think he was just consistent over the course. Oscar had some good sequences when it came to the AWP, but Neofrag was delivering on all 3 maps.
Indeed he was, and Sinners will deliver in the playing stage. They move on to the main tournament. It's back to Banks and the boys to talk a bit more about that one.
Thank you very much, guys. I would say that was a rather interesting ending with how that played out there, right? And just that game in general, we said it could get close, but I didn't expect it to be like that. The fact that we saw that actually ONYX were able to start off with so many rounds, you know, back to back, then it was just a fight back and we saw, 13 in a row, and you feel like, can they just do 16 in a row, we were saying in the green room? It almost looked like it was possible, and then Sinners kind of just took their foot off the gas.
Yeah, I mean, cool to see, first of all, ONYX being able to get that 7-round streak on the T side of Duke. It's not an easy feat whatsoever.
Definitely not.
Of course, you win those couple of crucial rounds in there, the pistol and the first weapon round, and you're already, 70% of that 7-0 lead at that point. But yeah, just to note on that last round, that was a very, very weird one. I don't know what happened with Arrow.
He must have.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I don't know.
It's the pressure, it's the pressure of the situation. You kind of tend to, it's a long 3 maps that you just played. Mistakes are allowed at that point, right? You can't really blame them too much. The thing is, they started very well on the turn up 7-0, right? If you start 7-0 on the T side of Nuke, you have to finish it by having 9 or 10 at least, right? And then it's going to CT, then you need to just finish it off. They kind of fell off completely, but they put up a fight overall, which is a crazy thing to do. And now it feels probably the worst at this moment for them, and that it's gonna hit them tonight and tomorrow morning. But what do you do as a team right now? I think we had all these problems, right? And changing players and bringing a new unexperienced player who never played with us, and changing the IGLs and everything. And we did so well. We almost got to a few rounds away of getting to the main event. You just see maybe we need to make a change or 2 or something to keep the core and just add some more youngsters or something like that and just move on, because there is potential there. We definitely saw that. Yeah, they wouldn't have been able to put up the fight they did, but we also got to look at the fact with Sinners. We came into this saying that they were on this losing streak, right? They're still not playing up to a standard of what we've seen of old.
No, for sure. I mean, I think the way they're going right now is definitely not what we saw earlier on. They had a promising start to Pro League. Yes, it didn't end up too well. EIM Fall was it, where they were playing really, really well as well. But they've kind of, I don't know, maybe they got ahead of themselves a little bit. They got those good results against better teams. Now they're playing against teams that they should be or expected to be winning against. Maybe the frustration kicks in when they don't get the success, and it just becomes a bit of a mess. It's a long season as well. The thing, they reminded me of let's say, Sinners are a team that was an unknown team, right? And then it became Sinners. They're pretty good, right? Now they are back to Sinners, who are those guys, right? Yeah. So that's the level of their game right now. But it changes, right? Like I said, it's a long season for them. They played God knows how many games on God knows how many tier 2, tier 3 events, right? Yep. And alongside that, they had the RMRs and the Pro League and all that stuff. It's a long year, and the effects are form dropping off. They need to sit down, whatever the outcome of this event or the next one is. You sit down and just analyze the whole year and see so they don't rush into making some unnecessary changes or God knows what else, right? So you need to analyze the problems, just go through the year, vent it out, and just see where the problems, if there is any problems, or it was just a fatigue or just being a burnt out kind of thing. Well, we're going to take a look at our final group standings. When it comes to Group A, Group B's match is still to come in just a little bit of time. But for now, what we'll see is Group A, eSuper and Sinners advancing off to the main event to join alongside them. Obviously, Enterprise is already there, but next up we decided it's going to be between Team Hungry and Fiend. Obviously, the other 4 big names that are there at the same time, right, is Big, Gambit, and Tropic, and Movistar Riders. What's interesting here is
Sinners got the second spot, right? So they're gonna get the worst seed, I assume. So they're gonna play the top team in the inviter. So maybe it will get like Gambit against Sinners, right? Which would be a good best of one.
Yeah.
You know, or big against Sinners or something like that, because there's gonna be like a different seeding because these two underdogs got the first spot in their groups. So it should be interesting tonight. So or tomorrow, I guess.
Preparation for all of it is going to be quite an interesting one for sure.
True.
But your boys are getting on their bus. Cassard, any farewell words you want to say to them?
It should be a plane at this moment because they deserved it, you know.
Oh, okay.
Underdogs,
Being nicer.
underdogs or not, you know, like stand-ins or not, they played a good tournament. I know I was on them, like they're playing this and bust that and bust this, right? But they deserve a play ticket, you know, just a comfortable flight back. Because
take that your
they didn't
wage.
embarrass themselves, right? They played a good game. They beat Sinners. They get a good best of 3 against Tesuba, a good best of 3 against Sinners, and unfortunately,
Let's maybe give it economy light, so they have to pay for their own package.
yeah. I mean, I'll just chime in with a few dollars as well if they're short.
Oh, feeling generous, aren't you?
Help them out, you know.
Kind soul you are. But that's it, us done. Natu, this is your final game. This is it. Anything you want to round up with? It's been nice to have you back on the talent desk for a little bit of time, mate.
Nah, it's been a good time.
You can see a bit more. You gonna come back?
We might. You never know.
Very enjoyable with Natu, and sadly I have to look at Yanko now. So.
Oh,
Well,
don't be like
You
that.
can't have it all.
I mean, it is what it is, right?
Still get paid.
At the end of the day, we all still get paid.
And on that note, we will take it to a break. We'll be back in just a little bit of time, bringing you the final best of 3 of the day and the deciding match between Fiend and Hungry, and who will make it to the main event.